Ideal mesmo para o mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação para o Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo! Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what legends have found. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I'm Ellie Brigida.
And I'm Lee Holmes Foster, and here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And we want to remind all of you about our Season 5 Patreon campaign and thank our newest King Princess patron, Ashley White. Thank you so much for donating to our campaign, Ashley. We cannot wait to get to know you better. If you want to join Ashley on our Patreon, you can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon.
And we have so many exciting events coming up that we cannot wait for you to join us for. The first one is coming up real soon, starting tomorrow night. We are going to have our first round of spooky queer trivia. We are going to have questions about all of our favorite spooky queer shows and movies like The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor and Hocus Pocus and like maybe some other surprises coming up your way. You don't know. But that is going to be tomorrow night as well as October 30th this weekend. So we hope to see you there, whichever day you can make.
Can't wait. We also are doing Orphan Black Trivia with Realm on November 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have some questions about the show and the season 1 of their Orphan Black podcast, so we can't wait to see you there.
And we know what you're thinking. It's Ellie and Lee. If I see you this week and I see you next week, then what am I going to do the week after that when I don't get to see you? And the answer, my friends, is you can see us again. You can see us and two of our fave people, Bad Queers, live on Zoom for an episode taping where we are going to be unpacking all of our feelings about the musical Rent.
I can't wait. I love it.
It's going to be incredible. That's going to be on November 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And, you know, after that, we might have to find some new excuses to hang out. But listen, we've got you for the next 3 weeks. That's all I can tell you.
And I'm sure December we will have some stuff for you as well. You can get tickets to all of those things on our Eventbrite as well. If you're like, where the heck can I get these tickets? Go to our Let's Hang Out Eventbrite. They are all there. In the greater Les universe, we want to talk a little bit about Tampa Bays, which is a new reality show about a group of queer women in Tampa. So we're always here for some new queer reality TV. I cannot wait to see how trashy, how gay, how great it is. So
all of the best parts of reality TV.
We're looking forward to it.
Tell us about this next one,
right,
Ellie.
sorry.
There's a movie. I know it. It's Italian. It's called Benedetta. It's about some lesbian nuns. But there was something that happened.
Yes.
What
okay,
happened?
so first of all, we had that whole episode where I talked about my Catholicism. So I just feel like this is just perfect. But people were protesting Benedetta. Like they're protesting this blasphemous lesbian movie. And Twitter was cracking me up because people were like, oh yeah, that's how the PR team was marketing
Good planning.
Yeah. Come see our blasphemous lesbian movie.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sold.
Yeah, yeah, I want to watch a blasphemous lesbian movie.
I do. I want to watch it.
So good publicity for another lesbian film. It's all about lesbian nuns and a lesbian nun love story. So count me in. I'm gonna see it.
Does anyone want to hear me talk about JoJo Siwa some more?
Yeah, everyone always wants to hear you talk
Listen.
about JoJo Siwa.
I heart one JoJo Siwa. That's all. For anyone who is not following Dancing with the Stars this season, just every week continues to delight and amaze us. And this week, JoJo and Jenna, well, I guess not, last week. Last week, JoJo and Jenna delighted us with a foxtrot to the Look at Me, I'm Sandra D reprise,
Incredible.
dressed as Sandy and Frenchie. And not only was that delightful enough, and you should all go watch it immediately, but also they earned a perfect score. 10s across the board. It was incredible. They killed it. They looked great doing it. And everybody now ships Sandy and Frenchie. So,
Have we done a Should Have Been Gay on Grease?
I was literally just trying to think about that.
We
and
haven't, but we
I don't think
need
we have,
to.
but we will now. It's on the list. We're going to
It's
put it on the
definitely
list.
on the
It's
list.
great.
And let's have JoJo Siwa
They did
on to
great.
talk about it.
Yes, please.
Lee, I
Look,
think if
look.
we got JoJo Siwa on this season, you would cry.
Oh my god, I would die. I'm gonna fangirl over her so hard.
Yeah.
I love it. She just has so much queer joy, and it brings me queer joy, and there's just a lot of queer joy happening.
We're here for it.
And I love it. And also, I want to point out, because Kelsey mentioned this when I made her watch it with me as well, which is, she was like, huge props for not dressing one of them as Danny Zuko. Like,
Yes.
for doing it as Sandy and
Yeah.
Frenchie is like,
Perfect.
chef's kiss. Like, beautiful, beautiful touch. Just A+ work. A+ work, ladies. We love it. Keep it up. So that's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee, and welcome to our 70th installment of Should Have Been Gay.
Oh, it was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
And in this week's episode, Ellie, you are a rainbow-infused space unicorn.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Lee. I love you too. We are joined this week by a very, very special guest, Vico Ortiz. Vico is a Puerto Rican non-binary actor and drag king, lover of dragons and queer representation both in front and behind the scenes, a big fan and advocate for the use of inclusive language, especially in Spanish, and of staying hydrated. Thank you so much, Vico.
And they're literally, like, cuddling a dragon right now.
And sipping on some water because I need to be a hydrated bitch.
Incredible.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited. Can you also tell our audience too, because you do a lot more than, love dragons. Can you tell our audience what they might have seen you in? You've been in a bunch of shows.
Oh my gosh. I guess you might have seen me on These Thems, which is on YouTube, or it was on YouTube, but now it's on Outfest Now. You also might have seen me on Everything Is Gonna Be Okay, both on Freeform or Hulu. I also was on Vita, on Stars, both on seasons 2 and 3, and I think that's some of the recent stuff, and then the future. You'll see me a lot more in the future, so prepare yourselves.
You've got all sorts of fun stuff coming up.
So excited for that. I am a huge fan of These Thems. I thought it was like such a wonderful series. So
It's
and
so
also you
sweet.
may have heard Vico in like a bomb podcast musical that came
True.
out recently. Like, just
Yes.
just saying.
It was so fun to record that, and y'all got a real experience of me being in Puerto Rico, and halfway through recording, lights were out. I had to go on my phone and like get the Wi-Fi going.
Oh yeah, we had
It
a
was
hot
perfect.
spot. There was dedication happening. It was amazing.
In
We're
my
lucky,
parents'
yeah.
closet. No, it was great.
It's not a live podcast, luckily, and no video, so we're good.
Indeed. Otherwise, you would have seen all my parents' clothes, and yeah. But it was great. I had a blast. It was so sweet.
We did too, and we just keep trying to find new excuses to talk to you, so you're here again. So we're so excited. And we're going to be talking about Parks and Recreation, as it should have been gay. I'm beyond excited for this. Lee, do you want to kick us off with our IMDb synopsis so we can
Oh,
dig
boy,
into
do
all of
I.
the gay in this?
Yes.
Okay, listen. IMDb synopsis for Parks and Rec. The absurd antics of an Indiana town's public officials as they pursue sundry projects to make their city a better place.
Can I just start by saying that parks, whether they're national or regional, whatever you name it, are ruled by lesbians? Like the amount of lesbians, queer women, queer folk that I know that love hiking, that love camping. I mean, the parks, camping is queer culture.
You are
So
you
the
are
fact-
so right. You are so
The
right.
fact that it's that Parks and Rec isn't inherently already gay is a major missed opportunity and low-key homophobic. Like, come on.
High key
Come on,
homophobic,
guys.
Fair.
actually.
High-key
Fair.
homophobic.
What about recreation? Do we also own like any sort of fun activity?
Listen, you're trying to tell me that someone walks out with a dodgeball and that person is not a lesbian. You are wrong. Incorrect.
Right.
Very, very correct. So is that your gay synopsis, Vico? Is just like parks are gay culture? Or do you have a gay synopsis for Parks and Rec for us?
I feel like the whole show should have been 100,000% gay just because, yeah, that's my synopsis. Parks, I mean, gays know how to recreate. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are doing fundraisers, we are building community, we are doing all the things. And you're telling me that Parks and Rec is not gay already? Yeah. That's my synopsis is that already the title is homosexual. So and
Accurate.
yeah. So
I just am
That's
so
my
excited
take.
for this episode. I really can't handle it. I also wonder, like, I said this before we logged on, like, this is one of my favorite shows. Like, do most queer people Parks and Rec is one of their favorite shows? Because like most people I know, it's one of their favorite shows. Is it because it's inherently queer, or is it just
I don't know.
interesting.
right?
'Cause
Like
we were-
you're thinking about it and you're like, actually, lots of people's favorite shows who are queer.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's only really one. I mean, I assume this character is gay, but played by Billy Eichner, like towards the
Mhm.
end.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
that's truly the only
actual
question mark actual
yeah.
gay character.
Yeah, because
Canon.
he marries the hairdresser. What's his name? When they do the like flash forward episode, like way at the end, right? Like he marries Ron's new hairdresser. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Kelsey's gonna be so disappointed in me.
It's okay. Lee, do you have a gay synopsis? I will try not
Sure.
to get us derailed. But
My gay synopsis, I think like I tried to dig deep because there's so much that we're gonna talk about. So I tried to go with like what is the real like core of my gay synopsis for Parks and Rec, and I think it comes down to April Ludgate is a disaster buy and I would die on this hill.
great.
That's
great,
it.
Great.
That's my gay synopsis.
Here for
100%.
it. I agree there are honestly too many people that I want to be gay in this, but I focused on my favorite couple in Parks and Rec, which is actually my favorite unrequited love story. So
Okay.
small
awesome.
town public servant Leslie Knope pines after her hopelessly straight best friend Ann Perkins for 6 years.
So true.
That is my gay synopsis for Parks
I
and Rec.
mean, it's
And she's
perfect because it's
canonically
true.
in love with Anne. Like canonically. Like that is in it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's my take. But I agree. April's bisexual. Like Leslie is just like so queer. There's so much in this. So I guess to start, because there's so much, we should start super quickly with our experiences with Parks and Rec. So Vico, is Parks and Rec also one of your favorite shows?
It really is. And now that you asked that question earlier, now my brain is like, wow, is it really like, because I started watching Parks and Rec, I think before I came out, and I was just really drawn to the show. And yeah, I've like grown a lot as a person with the show, outside of the show, obviously. But yeah, it's one of the shows that I like would watch over and over. It's the ones that I need comfort, and I would just like either watch the whole season or like find compilations on YouTube or bloopers, and it brings me so much joy. And yeah, it's a fantastic show.
Agreed. It is also one of my comfort shows. Like I remember vividly one of my first girlfriends whenever I was sad, she would make me up like a little like fort of like blankets, pillows, and we would just like have like a like basically like high school slumber party in the living room and watch Parks and Rec. And it was always my thing. Like the first thing she would do is like, "You're sad. Here's what we're doing." And like
That's so
it is,
sweet.
it's so comforting. It's so
And
comforting.
it's so gay.
Like
I love
the
that.
first, it's also, yeah, very gay story. The first episode I will watch to make myself laugh every time is the Get on Your Feet episode. I don't know. It just gets me every time. Every time. Every
I need
time.
a recap of that one. What's the
Oh, here, wait.
what's
I'll get you in it. Ready? Get on your feet when they're out on the ice. Just picture that. Get up
Yup,
and
yup,
make
yeah,
it
yeah,
happen.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They have like the shortest
Red carpet.
Red
the
carpet
shortest
the
red
red
carpet
carpet
ever.
Yeah.
with the three-legged dog and
Yeah,
like
And they
Starts
just keep
slipping
starting the
everywhere.
song
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. But I do wonder, like, in terms of themes of Parks and Rec, I feel like the biggest theme of Parks and Rec is chosen family,
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
which I
Mhm.
do feel like resonates really deeply with us as queer people, right? Because you are like these misfits, right? All these like completely oddballs come together and like love each other and have this family in their workplace. It's very queer coded, I think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Am I gonna cry? Who knows? That's
If you get
perfect.
too sad, we'll wrap you up in a blanket and play
Yeah,
you some Parks and
put
Rec,
on Parks
okay?
and Rec.
Please, I would love that so very much.
That's so nice. So nice. What about you, Lee?
So, okay, yes. Same. I think it is very much one of my comfort shows. I was saying before we started recording, but like it is absolutely Kelsey's favorite show on the earth. We've watched it so many times. Anytime anything is like things are sad or like we've had a bad week or whatever, it's like the guaranteed go-to to cheer us up is like put on Parks and Rec, everything will be better. It's okay.
Agreed.
Everything's okay now.
Now we just all have to get Peacock.
Yeah. This episode sponsored by Peacock.
Right.
I mean, okay, nothing could make Parks and Rec better, but like things could make Parks and Rec better, right? So
Make it gayer.
so let's talk about it. How could we make Parks and Rec any gayer? For you, Vico, let's just start character by character. Like, who's your first character that you're like, oh yeah, that is a full-on gay, and why?
I mean, starting with our lovely Leslie Knope, who's constantly serving us, giving us power femme vibes.
She loves a
Gay.
blazer. She loves,
Loves
a
a
power
blazer.
suit.
Here for it, 100,000%. I am vibing with you when it comes down to like Leslie and Anne could have been such a gorgeous relationship. I mean, Anne is serving us the chapstick sometimes, lipstick, bisexual, you
yeah.
know, like it would have been great. Honestly, as much as I love Nick Offerman playing Ron Swanson, I would have been totally fine with some like butch Thea, like a butch Thea, like in that position. It would have been like so fabulous as well, like a great choice to go. But Ron, I mean, there's some things about Ron that I'm like, I mean, you can also go with like Bear, you know, like
I was hardcore. I literally have on our outline, Ron Swanson is a bear. Like,
Mhm,
Ron would
mhm.
be at Bear Week.
yes.
Like, he'd like be inviting all of these bears back. Actually, probably not too many because he likes to be more solitary, you know? But he'd
Mhm.
be like, he'd pick like one or two that were worthy, and he'd be like, come back to my like gorgeous cabin and we'll drink whiskey and smoke cigars and then have like a bear party.
I
That
love
is
that.
exactly what will happen. Actually, that probably did happen at least once for Ron.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
100%.
He'd never tell. He'd take that secret to his grave, you know?
That would have been a great episode to just like casually like mention it and then just keep going and then
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yeah. Like nobody,
just like a
nobody
quick,
blinks
you know.
an eye. Yeah, like they're like
Mhm.
everything is normal. Like it seems like a normal thing for Ron to say. He's like, yeah, that 1 week,
Exactly.
like every summer, it's like his escape. It's like, oh yeah, when Ron goes to Bear Week. Yeah.
Oh my god, when Ron goes to Bear Week that
Been
could
a
have been
great
Oh,
episode.
that's great.
I'm picturing an episode where like don't you just want to see Tom like getting on a plane and like tailing him to P-Town and just like it would be amazing. He's like he's on the plane like 3 rows behind him with like sunglasses and a newspaper up, just like
Right, because
Oh,
he's like I need to know where
Yeah,
Ron is
yeah,
going,
yeah.
and then Tom is in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm like,
yeah.
there's too many, but like Tom.
And then the whole episode is
Tom.
just Tom getting hit on by like a whole bunch of giant bears like the whole time.
it would have been incredible. Also, Tom, like you were saying, Tom,
Just Tom. He's so
Listen,
Metro.
Tom of the secret beard wife, like come on.
Yep,
Yeah, let's talk
Come
about season
on.
1 Tom. He literally is in a fake marriage.
Yes.
that's right.
Secret fake wife beard. Like come on. It writes itself. It's too easy.
I'm just gonna say that everyone in this like show is like low key bisexual. Like they would have just acknowledged it, you know, like they would have just acknowledged that they were bi. Like that's all they really needed, you know, to like push the envelope.
Do you feel like they knew? Do you think they knew how queer the show was?
I don't think
No.
so. I don't
No.
think so.
I don't.
No.
Here's the thing. I
I
don't
like the
think
fact that I'm like, yes, it was so obvious. I'm like, they had to know, but that's just
I
my
don't think
queer lens.
anyone writes Leslie and Anne like that and knows what they're doing. Like
What do you mean knows what they're doing?
no, like I don't think anyone who like knows that they're doing that like doesn't actually go there, you know? Like how, because like I mean, like you said, Ellie, the show is basically like Leslie's in love with Anne, like hardcore, like obsessive, possessive, crazy, head over heels love with her. And then is like, I guess I'll marry like this nerd over here, which like, and listen, and that's coming from me, where like I adore Ben Wyatt. Ben Wyatt is me on a TV screen, kind of like we have many things in common, me and Ben, and I love him to death. I do, but he comes second to Anne at every turn, and he knows that. Everyone knows that. Leslie knows that. Anne knows that. Ben knows that. Everyone's okay with that and accepts it. So
It is actually there. Like that's not even us making stuff up. Like she constantly is complimenting Anne, like you beautiful unicorn, whatever you want to like there's so many lines. There's so many lines. And I would like to
sun-kissed,
say
the adjectives just on their own, right? Like,
and you
come on.
poetic noble land mermaid. That one I love.
I forgot about that one.
I wrote a few down. Can I just tell you some of them? 'Cause they're
Please,
so good.
please.
Okay. You're thoughtful and you're brilliant, and your ambiguous ethnic blend perfectly embodies the American melting pot, she says to her. You are a beautiful, powerful musk ox. I don't even know what that means.
Yes.
And then the other one that I love, this quote that I just loved, is when they're both at the sperm bank and the woman asks them if they're together. And Leslie says, no, tragically, we are both heterosexual. And that, first of all, makes me sad that they actually said that, because now we have to be like, okay, canonically, they are heterosexual. There's no gray area.
Sorry, I weirdly don't remember that scene.
Right? That
Strange.
never happened.
Weird.
Me neither. But there's also a scene where Ben says like everyone has gay thoughts. So
Yes.
where he is in an interview with Bird and he just starts panicking, and then in one of the things is like everyone has gay thoughts, and it's like
Do
Ben?
they, Ben?
you want
Do
to talk
they?
about something?
I like to think that like Ben and Leslie connect because of that, right? Like you feel like they had a conversation where they're like, where Ben's like, yeah, I have gay thoughts about Chris all the time. And Leslie's like, oh yeah, me too about Anne. Wow, you just really get me. And you're like, you are both bi.
Yep.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think the Leslie Anne interaction is. I think it is like I think it's a two-part thing that's happening. I think on one side of like why they wrote it so gay, and I don't think they knew they were writing it that gay. I think on one side you have the fact that TV writers just really like don't know how to write
Female friendship?
like female friendships without always making them constantly just a little bit gay. And on the other hand, I think it's also combined with like Parks and Rec, I think it was still kind of at the tail end of especially like sitcom TV, because I think it's like mainstream culture now. I think it's gotten away from this a lot sooner, but I think in like the sitcom TV culture, this idea that like no one really likes their spouse, and so I feel like they didn't try to do that with Ben and Leslie, but I do think it's weird that it's like they wrote this whole relationship that like you are supposed to like, man, there are like hardcore like Leslie Ben like people out there who are like, this is the most beautiful relationship in the world, and I'm like, she would drop him like a hot freaking brick if like Anne needed her, and like everybody knows that and accepts it in this way that I'm like, I think that's like a weird straight couple holdover from like sitcoms where the whole joke was like, and you hate your husband or you hate your wife. Do you know, like,
yeah, and therefore you love your best friend more, like Lucy and
right,
Ethel.
exactly. And so it's like they didn't quite go the whole like they hate each other route, but they still had to be like, but you love someone else more. Like, we're all clear on that, right? Like, he's definitely not the person you love the most. Like, you love someone else more than him, like, as is only normal and expected of straight
couples,
relationships. Yeah. And you're like, sure, writers, that seems right and normal to all of us.
It also is the kind of thing where, like, I feel like they've done this in a lot of sitcoms. You're like, also this trope of like best friends dating other best friends. Because it's like, oh, okay, so like, because I also ship Chris and Ben.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, you have like Chris and Ben who have chemistry, you have Leslie and Anne who have chemistry, and then you're like, okay, but they can't be together, so let's do like the next best thing, which is like, oh, just take the friends and merge them together in a heterosexual way. Like, that's what happened.
How dope though it would have been if they had this like gorgeous like kitchen table polyamory polycule situation. Like, they just would have been, I mean, there's still a powerhouse, like, power couples, but like together, like have a house with like several rooms, and like, wasn't at the end that like they end up having triplets, and like, you know what I'm saying? That would have been such a badass like situation. And they were all together.
I'm here for it. It would be so good.
I mean, it almost kind of happened, wasn't it? No, they ended up like living in different like states and stuff, but like it was close. It got pretty close for a moment there.
Oh yeah. Well, also like when Anne moved, Leslie was like destroyed. Like, she could not handle the fact that her love was moving to be with a man.
She was more willing to have, I'm trying to remember the storylines and where that happened, but she was willing to like drop her job to follow Anne, or like versus Ben. I'm trying to like now remember the storylines, but I think in that devastation, she was willing to like stop whatever she was doing to be with Anne, versus like you said, Lee, if like Ben did anything, she'd be like, whatever, I'm gonna keep doing my job.
Yeah.
Ben was always the one who'd be willing to give up like whatever for Leslie, and like, sure.
I do personally love Ben as well, but I do
love
feel
Ben. Listen,
that's why I am very
love a nice
partial
town clown.
to the polycule. I'm very partial to that because I
and
love all of them.
Plus, Ben and Chris both are so much gayer than they were ever written to be straight, right? I mean, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
I mean, Chris.
Oh my God.
Chris on his own. I'm just like, there were so many. It's similarly to Leslie, like the way they're written. I'm like, there were so. How did you miss this opportunity? It was perfect. It was perfect.
Like, tell me that in the episode where Tom flies to P-Town, if you had Chris go with him, Chris would not have the best time of his life surrounded by gay dudes. He would be so happy. He would be like, oh my God, we're trading fitness tips. They're teaching me some new recipes to make. Like, he's like, they're super into my salad dressings. Like, this is the best week ever. They would be his favorite people.
I mean, he would be a hit.
Yes.
For
he
sure.
would be a hit.
I mean, him
Oh.
and Tom, and we have not talked about this yet, but okay, as we go back to our Bear Week, because this is honestly, this episode would be like the epitome of like every gay thing needs to happen. Jean Ralphio
Yes.
would also be in P-Town, and he would be DJing the party.
Oh
Listen,
my god.
the
He's
secret other
hosting.
like I will die on April is a disaster by 100%. The other hill that I would like 1000% die on is like Jean Ralphio has boned some dudes in his time. Like not a chance.
Oh,
Not a
many.
chance he has not. Like come on. Jean Ralphio is absolutely like pansexual, does not care. He is going to take whatever comes his way. Nobody would argue that that is not the case.
Yep. I'm just like thinking also like if obviously we love the actors who play these characters and I'm like obsessed, right? But I'm like if there was like a recasting of sorts, kind of sort of like if Tom would have been this like NB genderqueer, like then Tom
Yes.
and John Ralphio also would have had like a situation going, Also, when Lucy, played by
Natalie Morales.
Natalie
Yeah.
Morales, yeah.
Also giving us like power femme doctor would have like team up with Tom as well. You know what I'm saying? There was just so many queer like relationships and like, yep, that could have happened too.
It totally could have happened. And also, okay, what is gayer? There's honestly, oh my god, my mind is so blown with talking about this. There are so many tropes. We talk about a lot of tropes that like happen where there's like stand-ins in gay things, right? Like, so for example, the big one is like the brother, right? Clearly, like for example, like Bring It On, right? Missy and Torrance, clearly there's something there, but they're like, okay, we can't go with Missy, so go for the brother. Tom can't be with Jean Ralphio, so he goes for the sister.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right.
It's
Yep.
it's all there, and he doesn't even like the sister, right? He's like
That's
he's like
right.
not he just keeps getting like sucked in, right, by her like chaos energy because
Oh
it
my
reminds
God.
him of the love of his life, Jean Ralphio.
Oh, bless.
Like this
Love of
is
his
really
life.
blowing my mind.
So what you're saying is Tom started dating Mona Lisa being like, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. Don't
Yes.
be
Something
suspicious,
in return,
don't be
don't be
suspicious.
suspicious.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying there. I can see it.
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm
Yes.
gonna stick with that and Bear Week. I think Bear Week really struck a chord for me. Now I'm like, someone write that episode, please.
Please. I mean, they did like that like Zoom reunion, right? We could get a Parks and Rec reunion or a Parks and Rec reboot that is just this Bear Week.
Yeah, where
just the Bear Week.
everyone comes out.
Everyone comes back for this like one vacation. It's like maybe I don't know. I'm like we haven't really talked that much about April and Andy, but I'm like it's like April and Andy's like 10th anniversary or something, and like April's idea. She's like, "Oh, I want to go to Bear Week," because she would, right? Like, and also, I mean, if we're going to talk about April, like April was dating 2 gay men.
Yes.
Like April
That's
is actually
right.
canonically queer
Yes.
in the show. Like she's poly. She's like yeah, we all date each other, and she's like explaining to Leslie, like yeah, like they're my
Excuse
boyfriends.
me, they
He's-
don't all date each other. She clearly hates his boyfriend.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's
That's
right.
You're right. That's her boyfriend, and that's his boyfriend. It makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, like she's in a queer situation,
Yeah.
like already, and I would argue that her and Andy are a queer couple as well.
Absolutely. I feel like himbos are
Yeah.
inherently queer, so I feel like
Yeah.
April and Andy together is a queer relationship. So yes.
And as someone who cares deeply about himbos, I will never forgive Chris Pratt for slightly ruining my beautiful himbo Andy for me. But
By being Chris
accurate.
Pratt. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, by being Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Just by existing and being Chris Pratt. But I try so hard to overlook it every time.
But if we're gonna talk about the gayness of them, so they also they U-hauled.
That's right. And they also had a long distance relationship.
Oh my
Like,
god!
right off the bat. Like
Yes.
pretty quickly, it was like long distance, and it was a whole thing.
There's
Yeah.
it is really blowing my mind. Like I'm like, if I were to put a checklist together of like what are the things that we look for in gay shit, it's all of it. It's all of it. What?
How can
What's
I'm just
happening?
blown that this show wasn't purposefully like written to be queer, and it is so queer.
Like so much.
It's
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's only one story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby.
okay.
So much. Like Andy and April are like the fucking like lesbian couple who like they're like they were dating for what? Like a month? How long were they dating before they got married?
That's right. They got married so quickly.
Yeah.
And then they did the long distance.
And like the older lesbian is like, no, I've done this before. Like it's not a good idea. And they're like, but we're different and whatever. And then the older lesbian, being Leslie Knope, is like, oh, I believe in love again because I remember what it was like to U-Haul. And I hope it works for them. Like, it's gay.
Oh, wow.
Look, I could do a whole thing on like an alternate story arc that starts with Anne leaving Andy, right? And then like eventually realizing that like Leslie's just slowly like dying on the sidelines, pining for her, right? And then the slow transition to like a poly throuple with Anne as the hinge, because I'm sorry, but April is a little into Anne. Like, there is no denying that. Like, and so then imagine she also leaves Andy, like, then to be with Anne, and like all of Andy's ex-girlfriends are like in this poly throuple with each other and Leslie. I could write that story arc as well. That's all I'm saying.
The fact that also, like, within their, like, community, there has been people that have dated each other within it. Like, it's also very, very
it's
sapphic.
messy. Pawnee needs a chart, right?
We do. We really, really do. Pawnee absolutely
needs
a chart,
man.
Because it's definitely, yeah, it's the fact that within their own group, yeah, they've all sort of banged each other in one way or another.
Yep. They have. Also, I'm like, this is personal. I was just having a conversation about this today because I am in a large group of queer people in that we're all friends. I was sitting at a dinner the other day. There were 5 of us there, and 4 of us, like, 4 of us had slept with 2 other people in that 5, right? So, like,
Incredible.
I was looking around and I was just like, like, we were like, it was too much. It was too much. Yeah, so
Wow.
it's very real. And we're still like, we're
Yeah.
great friends and it's fine, right? Like, and also, like, there isn't that much drama about it, which also I think makes it very queer. Like,
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
example, when Anne starts to date Mark, that's his name, right? Her and Leslie have a very, like, straightforward conversation about it. The only weird thing about it is then Leslie stalks them. But at least when they start, like, Anne is like, I want to be open with you about, like, is it okay that I go on a date with this person that you slept with once 6 years ago? Like, and like they have a whole thing. And Leslie's like, yeah, it's fine. And then it's not fine. She goes a little nuts. But I would say that's more because she's in love with Anne
Yes.
than she's
Yeah.
uncomfortable that Anne is sleeping with someone she slept with 6 years ago.
100%, yes.
Plus, she
Oh
does
my
this whole thing
God.
like anytime Anne dates anyone, Leslie is the one that's there being like, they don't deserve you anyways. Like, they're not good enough for you, right? Like, girl, please. We've all been there. We've all
Mhm.
been there. Leslie, we know this speech, okay? Men just don't deserve you. You're too beautiful. You're too beautiful a muskox for them. And we're like, yeah, I know. Been there.
I'm like getting
need to-
almost sad because I'm just like, Anne and Leslie would have been so good.
It would have been epic. I feel like now, if the writers of Parks and Rec listen to this, I'm just gonna be like, that Zoom read or whenever we're in person again read needs to have a little bit of you need to give us some of that. You need to
A
give
little
it.
bit of spice, yeah.
Yeah.
I need it. I need it. I also want to talk really quickly about the Gay Penguins episode.
Yes.
Oh.
Just because, well, first of all, I love that the show in the first season has gay shit, right? And yeah, they're talking about the Gay Penguins, and it was chaos, like an accident. However, once Leslie's very happy in that gay bar. Like,
Yes, she is.
the second that she becomes like a gay hero, she just lights up. And I just feel like that's like baby's first gay bar in the first, like, what, 4 episodes of Parks and Rec? Like, literally, it comes really soon. Like,
I
very
need to
soon.
rewatch that episode again. I do remember a little bit of it, and yes, I do remember when the second the gays like loved her, she was just like, "Oh my gosh!" She lit up. She would. I mean, that could have been the perfect like that episode, and then the one right after the coming out episode. Like, and then just confess her love for Anne, and then rule gay Pawnee together.
Yes, I want them to rule. But yeah, she was like, she loved that gay bar. And they bring the gay bar back so many times too, which I love. There is a point where they're at the gay bar and Chris keeps getting hit on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they go to one, yeah, at some
yeah,
point.
and Chris is like, wow, everyone's so friendly here.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not the same gay bar, but it definitely happens.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's like one of their dates, Chris and Anne. They go to a date. Also, oh my God, the things that keep coming out of my mouth. One of Chris and Anne's first dates is at a gay bar. What two
Oh my
straight
God.
people go on a date to a gay bar?
Were they hinting? Were they maybe hinting on us like something, and we're just. I mean, I truly now after this, I'm like, no, the show is gay. Like like it is gay. You just need to acknowledge it.
Yeah, there's no doubt
Here's
in my
what's
mind now. It's
depressing
freaking me out.
too, is like Chris is a better written gay character, like gay, like male character, than so many gay male characters who are just like okay, I'm thinking like James Corden in The Prom, where you're just like, okay, I get it, you're effeminate and you like shopping and like you talk like this a lot and you move your hands and you're super gay. Like, okay, fine, but like Chris is like a relatable, like real life, like queer icon where you're like, oh my god, like, stop being so ripped, eat a hamburger. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, just, good lord, why are your suits always so nice looking on you? Damn it. It's
I
like,
think that
he's a real gay. That's all I'm saying, okay? Like, that's when people want, like, real queer rep, like, that's what they want. Give that to people. That's what we're looking for. Give me a lesbian who is Diane. Give me a lesbian who is Lucy Lawless as Diane, who is like, oh, you here to, like, fix our pothole? Yeah, I want to learn how you're going to do that. Cool.
I forgot
Give me that
about Lucy I
lesbian.
forgot about Lucy Lawless in this.
A whole dyke in this show. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh
I
my
get it.
God.
I love her and Ron together. I'm here for it. Maybe she's bi, fine. But, like, come on. Come on.
If you made Ron queer, though, like this, like queer carpenter, right? Like, then the whole relationship with Diane would be queer as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot about her. I'm just like now, like, yes, with the kids and all the bits, and
Yes.
oh my gosh,
She's self-sufficient. She has tools. She knows how to use them. She doesn't need a man. Like, she'll keep one
Mm-mm.
around, fine. But, like, come on. That character's not straight.
They could have at least like sprinkled a little bit of that. I mean, they kind of did it a little bit with Ron and Tammy. Some of that, BDSM like kind of like situation. They kind of sprinkled it. Like if they would have, I mean, Ron can just be the pet, He lives happily ever after.
He'll make his own cage. He'll be into it.
Absolutely.
Ron would be like, you think you're going to chain me up to those things? Like, those aren't even mounted. Come on. Like,
And they have
A
the
bear
same
in a
name.
cage.
Like, what queer person hasn't dated
Yes.
someone with the same name?
Ah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
that too. Yes. Yep. Oh my gosh. Especially, I mean, especially for I mean, speaking of someone that knows a lot of NBs who gravitate towards
Yep.
Kai or Theo or you're bound to like meet
Oh, yeah.
several of the same names, and it's like, oh, there we go. Tammy number 1, Tammy number 2,
Guy number 1, guy number
Kai number
2.
yeah.
Let us know if you have dated
No.
everyone. This is for the listeners. Please let us know.
Oh my goodness.
To be fair, I bet you we have a lot of people who are like, yeah, I've dated 2 people with the same name, or they've dated someone with the same name
That
as
would be
them.
too
I could
confusing.
never handle that, but
I could not. Yeah.
teach their own.
Also, that episode where they have I forgot the other town. The other town's name.
Eagleton.
Where they have their doubles. They have their like all
Yes.
the same folks, like the Ron bits,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're always bound to like meet someone in the queer community that like kind of looks like you or has a similar vibe to you, but it's from like another town or whichever.
Wait, sorry, real quick. Eagleton Ron has, like, fucked a dude in a yurt as well, like, for sure, right?
Mhm.
Like, Eagleton Ron has, like, done some shrooms and, like, definitely, like, done some weird shit in, like, a yurt somewhere. That's...
Oh yeah, like he's gone to some sort of like queer sex retreat, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
like
He's
totally
a little too
cool.
into Ron.
Yeah.
Come on.
Tantric yoga or
Yes!
something.
Yes,
Yeah.
1000%. That's, yeah.
I'm so here for all of it. Oh my
The show keeps getting gayer the more I think about it.
It really
It really does.
It really does. It's a little much.
It's too much. It hurts.
I need to rewatch it all and now be like, wow. Like I watched bits and pieces for this and like refresh my brain, but I was like, oh no, this could it keeps giving.
It really does. It really does. I'm trying to think of like, I mean, there's also so many characters too that like we like will never be able to get to. But the one, oh my god, what's her name? The TV personality, Joan Calamezzo.
Yeah.
Like girl is definitely bi. Like she just like she probably was at that same sex party as
Oh,
other
yeah.
Ron.
Yeah, Joan has woken up in beds like not knowing who they belong to and not caring.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love, like, if we go back to Tom being, like, a little NB, that, like, she just, like, also, like, loves Tom as well.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, I am here for it. To bring it all back to Tom as an NB. Like, I love it. I love it.
I suddenly now want that so badly, and that's not where I expected to land during this episode, but like I want it. I want it so much.
Also, speaking of people who've dated each other and freaking dated Tom too, like, what is happening in this town?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, they all really truly dated each other, and the fact they're all like low key bisexual, pansexual icons in their own way. Because it's so.
There's also when Ron hooks up with the woman that Chris is like trying to take out on a date, right? Like, oh, who is she?
I know who.
So like,
I know who you're talking about, but I
do
don't
you know what I'm
remember
talking
why.
about?
She's
And then
even
like
there.
I think it's like one of the first episodes where like we learn like the whole Ron and the red shirt thing. He like shows up in the red shirt, and like Chris has been hitting on this woman, and then she like leaves the restaurant with Ron, and they like definitely hook up that night. So like they have this whole kind of like shared dating pool. Literally everyone. It's messy. It's messy, this
and
show.
Yet they don't. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna like really, if you were gonna have Anne date if you were gonna have Anne
Jam
date
dates Tammy.
Tom, you really wouldn't have Anne date Leslie. Like, come on, you're really gonna throw us
That's
that
very valid.
because you're just like, oh well, Anne's single right now. We should probably put her with someone who's around. Oh, the only other man. Like, no, not right. It's not right.
Yeah. They really at least give us like a season of them dating, at least trying it out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it would have been too good, Obviously, that was the right choice. If they would have given us a season of them like trying out to date, that checkmate, like they would have found the perfect union. It would have been too perfect.
There's no more seasons after that. Yeah, like that's it. It's like, like Bones. Didn't they like wait for like 10 seasons for them to get together or something? Because they're like, well, we just got to keep stretching this out. That's what we thought they were gonna do with Anne and Leslie, but then they screwed us.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
I think of also what's this guy, the dentist guy also,
Jam, right?
who's Jam.
Yeah.
Cancel. Yeah, the dentist guy also I feel like would have been in the same like little kumbaya thing with the Eagleton Ron and the other. It's just everyone in that town. Just
he would go, but he would get it so wrong, right? Like he would he would think he was doing the right thing, and he would like show up with like all of the wrong things. Like he's gonna show up with like his little kimono outfit and just be like wildly offensive the whole time, but he'd be so into it.
I am just remembering the episode where Leslie learns how to rollerblade. Or roller skate? What's the roller derby bit or whatnot?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Ben is a lesbian.
Listen, Ben, whose favorite band is Letters to Cleo. Yeah, okay.
He's just a dorkable soft butch, like who it's written all over his face. He is a soft butch lesbian and loves Leslie on the rollerblades, and it's so gay.
It really is. I'm like, also just like low hanging fruit, but like her name is Leslie. Ooh.
Oh yes.
Like people have been using the name Leslie to like hint or like at being gay or to be like, oh yeah, Leslie over there. Like her name literally has Les in it. That's all. Easy. That's my end. The end of it.
Amazing.
Leslie.
Incredible.
They're honestly like every single character we have already discussed, like it just is so queer. So which characters do we ship together? We've sort of talked about this, but let's round it out. Let's pick our top 2 because there's too many. So each of us pick our top 2. Actually, no, I think we can pick top 1 and we'll still have good ones. We'll see. All right. So mine, I already said from the beginning, Leslie and Anne. I just like, there's no one else for me. And their ship name is Anne Lee.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right? Their names even work together.
That's really pretty. Wow, Anne Lee. That could have been like a kid's name or something. They could have.
Yeah, then they named their kid Anne Lee. Oh,
Oh, so gay.
So cute.
Wow. Can I second this or should
Oh,
I?
yeah,
I
you
mean, I
can
guess
Oh
like
no, yeah.
You
Oh
can
yeah, we need a whole
You
mix.
can second it, but we can so say your second. Who's your top? Who's your second favorite?
so top. I'm with you on that one, and then my second would be Ben and Chris. Ben and Chris would have been a great ship. I've never done a ship name. Let's try this. Oh my gosh, Ben is only
You
one.
can use their last names too. So we have what? Ben, Wyatt, and Chris Traeger.
Traeger, and Wyatt. Try it.
Ooh,
No,
and then,
did I-
and then you just throw another person.
Try it.
Try it.
Try it. I
it
don't
once,
know.
you know?
Try it once, you never go back.
Oh goodness.
We're here for that. Yeah, Traeget,
Traeget?
Weiger.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
Krieger. Yeah.
Yes.
No, wait, no, that's like Chris and Traeger. Benny's?
nice.
I don't know.
Wow.
We love them. We love them all. Lee, how about you? Who's your top?
Oh man, I think now that we said it, I'm gonna have to go with Joan and Tom. I'm into it. Like I didn't see this coming. I was all ready to be like April Ann. I like it, but like I'm here for Joan and Tom. I want it.
That would have been real cute. That would have been
Right?
real cute. Yes.
They're ridiculous.
It feels super unnecessary, but I feel like this is what they would both want in their hearts is to go with Callum Ezerford.
Wow.
Oh.
Right? It's like too long,
It's-
but they'd both be like, yeah.
That sounds
That makes
right.
sense.
I'm also gonna throw out as like our other ship because I really love the idea of the polycule. The Ben,
Yes, please.
Chris, and Leslie foursome, which their ship name would be. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Well, so what did you say? Benny's.
Benny's.
So Benny's Lesanne. It's too long. It's so long.
Wow.
It's so long. Or we could call them something. I don't know. I'm like, what do we just like? What's like one word that you could name them all? Or you could pick like, oh, what about if we just use the first letter of their names? Like it'd be like
Oh, that's fun.
Clab.
Ooh.
Clab. Yeah, it's bad.
Collab.
Or Bulk. It's bad. All of them are bad. Their ship name's not great, but I like them together. All right? The ship name's horrible. But it's okay.
I wasn't on Tumblr enough to get very fluent on ship names. This is great though. This is great exercise for me.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, we always come up with the worst ones anyways. Like it's fine. Like you're doing your best. You're doing your best. Oh my god. I honestly am so happy we have done all of this because it's very clear to me, and I mean was clear before, but it's more clear now that Parks and Rec should have been gay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna do our Q and gay.
Q and gay.
Number 1. Who is the gayest Parks and Rec employee? A. Leslie, B. April, C. Tom, or D. Ron Swanson?
April.
Yeah,
Correct. yeah.
correct.
Okay. Question 2. What is the gayest Leslie and Anne interaction? Is it A, going to a sperm bank together, B, their snake juice fight, C, Leslie throwing a fit when Anne moves, or D, sleeping with the same guy? Wait, did they sleep with the same guy?
Yes, but not at the same time. Mark.
Oh. Did they both sleep with Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, Leslie slept with him a long time before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it. I'm with you.
I'm gonna answer. I have the third finger up, which means I think it's answer C, which is when
that was Leslie throwing a fit when Anne moves.
that is super gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very gay. Question number 3. Obvious answer. Should Parks and Rec give us our gay P-Town episode? A, yes, or B, definitely yes.
Definitely yes.
There's no other option.
No.
Can I
no.
hit the button harder? Can I just duct tape
I'm just
to
kidding.
that?
I'm gonna keep hitting it. Question 4. This is gonna be tough. Who is your top Parks and Rec ship? A, Anne and Leslie, B, Chris and Ben, C, Tom and Jean Ralphio, or D, Ron Swanson and a bear?
I mean, what I want to see, and I want to see I want to see Ron and a bear now. Like, I just,
Yeah.
I really want that now. I want that imagery. I want it.
Yep.
But yeah, Tom and Ralphia would have been
So
masterful.
many options. Too many options. This freaking show. All right. And our final question. The gayest Parks and Rec episode. A, a gay penguin wedding. B, Andy and April's wedding. C, April's gay boyfriends. Or D, Ron and Diane.
Oh, these are all pretty gay. I mean, I know that the penguin episode is like the gay episode, but like, oh, just the fact that we've discovered that April and Andy are essentially have a lesbian relationship, I'm gonna say that their marriage is
Incredible.
my answer.
Great
Yeah.
choice. Great choice.
Also, I just have to say real quick before we finish, I do need to shout out Craig and Typhoon, who are the actual gay rep in Parks and Rec, who do get married eventually. So shout out to the only gay characters that we ever get.
That we didn't even talk, that we barely talked about.
Oh my gosh,
that we
yes.
barely talked about. That's okay.
But they were there.
Just to throw it out there, just so we make sure. We do know there were actual, like, some gay characters, but
And the gay
Come on.
and the gay boyfriends and the gay penguins. Like, we got
Yeah,
some
yeah.
gay stuff, just not as much as was really there, you know?
Yeah, they really could have milked this.
They really could have. Vico, thank you so much for joining us. My face literally hurts from smiling at this ridiculous episode. Where can our listeners find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram as Puerto Rican Ninja. The same N for Puerto Rican is the same N for ninja, so just the one N in the middle. You can find me on Twitter at V_Vico_Ortiz. I'm not really on Twitter though, so you don't have to. But Instagram is where I'm at the most. And then on TikTok as well, Vico_Ortiz. I'm there sporadically whenever I have the energy for that app, because it is a lot.
Amazing. Anything coming up that you want to let our listeners know about, or is it all too secret?
What's right now available to everyone is Narcos versus Zombies on Amazon Prime Video. All of the episodes are bingeable. It's a zombie show. I play a sergeant, so check that out. And that coming up, I voiced one of the characters on a show on Nickelodeon called Casa Grandes. I think the episode is coming up in a couple of weeks. Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO Max, which they haven't officially set when it's coming out, but I think it's going to be this fall. And Our Flag Means Death, also on HBO, but that will be like next year or something like that. I don't know.
And do
But
you ever sleep is the last question.
Actually, now I do, because because I'm like, it's the pandemic, so I just like by 10 p.m. I'm like in bed.
Amazing.
I don't go out anymore, or I'm not cool like I used to be.
None of us are, you know?
Yeah, parties. I see people say like it starts at 10, and I'm like, that's where I'm in bed by 10. I'm like turning off the lights. I'm not even watching an episode of something. I watch it at like 9.
Wow.
Lost some points there.
I'm jealous. No, very jealous of the sleep.
Forcing it now.
We all need it. And
Mhm.
Vico will also be doing an Instagram story takeover this week on our Instagram, which will be great. So if you want to catch them there, you should follow us at Let's Hang Out Pod. Seriously, Vico, we always love spending time with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I also love hanging out with y'all, so thanks for having me, and I'll see y'all soon.
Yay!
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from all of you. We love building this community. So we just want to shout out some of our favorite things every episode. And this week, we want to shout out someone who tweeted at us. So this is a shout out to Treehouse1984, who tweeted at us about our Should Have Been Gay Clueless episode, pointing out that there is a comment that Cher's dad makes at one point in the movie that says, doesn't 2 permits don't make a license have an air of marriage should be between a man and a woman / gay sex isn't sex? And like 100%
Yes.
yes. That is, we didn't even catch that, and I love when people point out stuff that we somehow managed to miss in these episodes, because, like, just mind blown right now. So good.
So good. So thank you for that tweet. It also cracked me up. I also want to shout out another person on Twitter, which is What About Dat Queer Media. They have a podcast about queer media. They also came to our Flame panel at Klexicon, and they have been tweeting all about the Flame since then. So we want to say thank you so much for your support. We're happy to hear that you're loving the show. And we love that you also have a podcast about queer media because we're here for it.
You love to see it. And as always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Jess Klaus,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jacqueline Rosashino,
Sarah and Julia,
Carrie Ann Lawrence,
Danny Gunlock Tamora,
Brittany Ray,
Alana Rosen,
Lizette Stye,
Stacy,
Adi Benitez,
and Fiona W.
And our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Leah Henley,
Liz Chen,
Julia Gonzalez,
and our newest King Princess, Ashley White. Thank you all so much for your support. We could not continue to do this show without you. Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use to listen to podcasts, make sure that you subscribe. That way you'll get new episodes as soon as they go up every week.
Also, make sure you subscribe to The Flame on any podcasting app. We have a lot of new listeners from Klexicon, and we want to keep the Flame love going.
We also have videos going up on our YouTube channel still. You can find that at youtube.com/letshangoutpod and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any.
If you want to support the podcast, the easiest way is to rate and review us on iTunes. We love reading what you have to say, and it helps other people find the show.
If you want to support us financially, the easiest way to do that is to join our Patreon. You can join at bit.ly/lespatreon. You get access to our Patreon-only Discord, which is one of our favorite places on the internet. And you can also join us for cool things like Les Essentials watch parties and all sorts of other fun stuff. You can find it at bit.ly/lespatreon.
If you want to support The Flame, you can do that at bit.ly/theflamepatreon. We have a lot of really exciting things coming up, including a live concert sometime in the year 2022. So stay tuned for updates on that. But we do need money to fly out all of our cast. So you can do that at bit.ly/theflamepatreon.
If you want to get some merch, we have all of our designs up in our TeePublic. You can get them on all sorts of things like t-shirts and tank tops or sweatshirts since we're getting into like the chillier weather seasons. And you can see if we have new designs going up, and you can find that at bit.ly/lesshop.
If you want to find us individually, you can find me at Ellie Brigida on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.